Hello, everybody. My name is RJ, here with my co-hosts Dan and Bill. And
Hey.
here today, finally, we are here for our bonus episode of the month of October, where we are going to talk about some movies we have picked, recommended to you guys to watch around the Halloween season this year, which is a little late, but watch this when it comes out and watch these movies and have some fun, We have a lot of movies to talk about today. We won't spend a lot of time on a lot of them. We actually just added some more before we started recording. We kind of have a little honorable mentions section now. So normally Dan takes the lead on these bonus episodes, but I'm stepping up today because this one's a little different than normal. We gotta have a little more order to this one in a way. So.
Are you saying I'm disorganized?
Well, this is the part where we joked that we were waiting for you for... No.
They were. To be fair, they were. They were sitting there for like half an hour waiting for me to get my
It's
crap
okay, we
together.
were talking about wrestling the whole time. Nope.
Losers.
So, today's episode, we have 10 picks each. Little Sean Spears action. 10 picks each. To talk about, which we will cycle through. But before we get to that, we are gonna do. We have 6 community picks. We had 5, we switched to 6. 6 community picks we will quickly talk about, and then we might mention some of our honorable mentions that we have here as well. Some of the honorable mentions will come naturally up in discussion later. Some of them will probably come before we go into our cycle. And when we start our cycle, we are gonna go. Dan's gonna start with a movie that he's recommending. I'm gonna do a movie that I'm recommending, and we're gonna go to Bill to end us off on the cycle. Which I like the order personally, and you guys will probably learn why later on.
I know why, because it's what movie we're going to be recommending absolutely last then.
So,
Because, spoilers, my order goes from relatively normal to what the fuck is wrong with you.
Yeah.
yeah, Bill
The
has
list is long and distinguished. On
Bill's
both
order.
Cases.
Bill has an order to his list. Dan's just going in the order I happen to have it listed in my notes app, and I am just winning it. So this should be fun. So yes, these are a lot of Halloween, a lot of movies, recommendations, horror movies or horror adjacent for you to watch around this Halloween season. So we are going to start off with our community picks. These are picks that we all agree to some extent
Yep.
are movies you should be watching around this
Yeah.
Halloween
Movies
season.
that we all agree we like.
We can all agree on these, which is not always an easy thing because some of us, aka me, have different tastes
taste
than
and
these
some
two.
of us don't.
We had
That's
to
a way to
do
put
the
it.
community pick just so that our lists weren't like 60% the same 3 movies, 60% the same 6
Yeah.
movies.
We wanted to make sure that there was going to be a lot of crossover, so we did the community picks to make sure that we weren't fighting over picks. So
This way no one gets stabbed over the thing.
there will be some picks that
No guarantees on that.
there will be some picks later on when we cycle that there'll be like 2 of us that agree are really good movies, but
Even all 3 of us, but just we're not
They
the
weren't-
fighting level.
They weren't ones that would be on the fighting level, like, I want to fucking talk about this. So, these are our community picks, and I am doing these in a specific order, and we're going to start off with Shaun of the Dead. And we're starting off with this one. I'm going to let Bill and Dan take the floor on this one, because I have to be honest here, I still have not watched Shaun of the Dead. So, make fun of me
Oh
all
my
you want for
God.
that.
Okay. Oh, we will. Don't you worry. We're going to be merciless with you on this.
I let you guys have this one, because I know
Okay,
What
it's
did I
such
ever
a-
do in this world to deserve an empty-headed fucking dumb fuck like Ryan to go out
On a podcast over
and
horror
fucking go
movies.
into business for himself? For what? What did I do? What did I ever do? Didn't do a goddamn
Yeah.
thing to have him not even have seen the movie.
Yeah. If a real friend would have watched this for us,
Already. All fucking
Yeah.
ready.
I didn't know you still hadn't seen Jonathan. I was just going to use
I
it
thought
on
he
a
had.
pick you didn't agree with.
Guys,
Yeah, I
I'm
thought he'd
sorry.
seen it. To be
Yes,
honest,
for anyone wondering, I did take the trouble of transcribing a CM Punk rant just to use on them later.
I I let you guys have that one in the community pick because it's such a cult classic and it's so beloved that
it's
I
a
couldn't turn it down.
fantastic film. Okay. Shaun of the Dead it's a zombie film. If you haven't seen it, it's a zombie comedy romantic film.
Zombie rom-com.
Zombie rom-com. And it's deserving of that title, actually. It's one of the few zombie rom-coms out there that is genuinely worth watching. Most of them are kind of tedious, right? But this one is funny. It's charming, fantastic soundtrack, fantastic storyline. Camera works great. Everything about this film is just hilarious.
The editing,
and fun.
particular, it's Edgar Wright.
Oh, yeah.
You have to call
Yeah.
out the editing.
Yeah, it's just it's so funny. It's so charming. You can't help but enjoy it. And it's very tongue in cheek too. It's very silly in spots.
I mean, it's
Go ahead,
the
Bill.
second best part of the Cornetto trilogy, so that's saying a lot.
Yeah. And Ryan, do you have anything to say about this film? What? No,
I've heard it's
because
really
you haven't
good.
seen it. We tried as hard as we could to raise it right, but you know how it is.
You guys don't know my pain every day, disappointing them, and then
It's
and having
horrifying.
not seen it.
I think they do it on purpose at this point.
They do.
I've
You
done
can
it on
tell.
purpose
Look,
half
look
my
in their
life.
eyes. Look in their eyes right now. Look in their eyes right now. He's laughing at us. Right? This was deliberate. It was. But anyway, people.
Brian's just like, this movie's good. I can't watch it because then I'll ruin my reputation.
That's been me half my
then
life.
people think no. But anybody listening to this podcast absolutely recommend Shaun of the Dead. Bill and I both. It's such a great film.
This is gonna be the episode I get bullied, isn't it?
Oh,
As opposed to every other
we're just
episode.
warming up.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
we're just
by
warming
like
up there.
other people
And our
besides
general
you guys.
interactions outside of the podcast.
Watch there be actual people.
Actually,
that
usually
watch
we're
this
bullying
one.
Dan, so this is a bit of a change.
Well, it switches
Norm-
between
yeah,
me and
normally.
Dan. You're the only one that never gets bullied, Bill. Really?
Yeah.
Too much.
And after we finish my movie recommendations, we'll know why.
Yeah, that is true. The
Everyone's like, he likes this. We shouldn't bully him. It's not safe.
Yep. Okay. So let's go to our second movie.
Okay,
Ryan?
so our second movie, we're gonna go Tucker and Dale.
Ooh, yes, absolutely.
So we
must
have
watch.
all three of us have seen this one. This is still more of a Bill and Dan recommendation, but I do like this movie. I just don't love it as much as the other two do.
And a lot of
Because he
that
has
is
no
because
taste.
they spoiled themselves by watching kill counts on it before watching it and knew the gimmick before it happened.
That is
Yeah.
very true. I may have accidentally ruined it for myself. A lot of
Yeah,
it.
and their lack of taste is what is ruining this podcast right now. Just want to say, just so you know.
But every benefit that Dan gave about Shaun of the Dead also applies to Tucker and Dale.
Yes.
Except instead of being a zombie film,
It's a
it's a
slasher.
hillbilly slasher murder comedy, horror comedy, murder romance.
Yeah, it's so funny and it's so charming. Right. I think it's one of the things that stands out on this film more than anything else is it's a slasher trope film, but it is so charming and the characters are so endearing that you
Oh
cannot
yeah, the
help but enjoy
characters are
it.
so lovable. Well,
You can't
the
help
ones
but
that
enjoy
you're
yourself.
supposed to love.
I guess
Yeah,
we
it's-
should say the full title is Tucker and Dale for Steve, not just Tucker and Dale, but yeah.
Yeah, but for anybody, if you're looking to watch a movie with your girlfriend, or a bunch of friends are hanging out, Tucker and Dale versus Evil is really a great film for everybody to sit down and enjoy.
Tyler Labine, who plays Dale, is a brilliant actor too. He's been really good in other things that have been coming out since too.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
so
really
good in
good.
that. And then, of course, for any Firefly fans, it's got Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk is also amazing in this. Yeah. So what's next?
Next up is, we'll go with the one we just added before we started this. We'll talk about The Babysitter next. The Netflix movie.
Yes. Oh God.
All three of us
This film.
realized we all liked this movie before we started, so we're like, why the fuck isn't it on our list? So it is now a community pick.
I mean, it wasn't on my list because I'll admit I forgot it existed for a while, and then Dan mentioned it, and I remembered that I love it.
I'm willing to admit that I like both of those movies, but there is something more special about the first one than the second,
Yes,
for sure.
Yes. Yeah, it's again, it's fun, it's silly, it's not so scary that you can't watch it with younger people.
It's
You know,
it's a comedy slasher, I guess you'd call it.
it is. There's some pretty hardcore comedic moments in it.
It kind of felt to me like a more modern day Buffy. And I mean the movie Buffy, not the TV show, although both are great.
Okay. Yeah, both are great, but yeah, you're right. It is kind of a modern day, a sort of an update on that style of horror. Just good, nasty fun.
Yeah.
It's pretty well cast, and the babysitter herself, is it Samara Weaving? Is that who?
Yep, Samara Weaving.
She's really good.
Oh, she's fantastic in this.
She's a really good actress.
But the young fellow that's in it with her, the one she's babysitting,
He's really good too.
I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember the actor's name, but he was amazing.
I'm gonna search it real
He
fast.
was so good.
Yeah, you might want to get on that because we're not going to be getting a lot of actor names and recommendations from me because I'm terrible with them and I don't remember most people's names.
Judah Lewis, his name is.
Oh yes, and Jude Lewis is fantastic in this film. He really is. And in the sequel as well, he shows up in that with Samara Weaving, and he's just as good. Right. So
He
it's
arguably
kind of more
carries a lot
of
of the second one.
yeah, it's kind of more of a pop culture pick than a horror pick, but it's still worth watching.
Yeah, I mean, it's technically still horror, but it's not heavy on the horror elements a lot of the time.
Until Bella Thorne gets her boob shot off. Just saying.
That is horrific, isn't it?
Right. There are a lot of horror elements in it.
There are
yeah,
a lot of horror elements, but
I mean, all the comedies we've mentioned so far have the full horror tropes. They just
Yeah.
it just also
the comedy outweighs it.
You also
Yeah.
get comedy and you get the drama elements too, and you get the relationship building and all this too. So there's a bit of everything.
Yeah. Okay, next.
Next up, we will go with. I'm doing it in this order just because the last two we're going to talk about are just all timers. So next we're going to go to 28 Days Later.
Yes.
Number one, all three of us love this one.
Yeah.
They talked me into watching this one a while back. And
I mean, if you need a good non-comedic zombie movie, this is your go-to.
if you need
this
a
is-
serious zombie movie, this is a.
Yeah,
This
this is
is
Danny
good.
Boyle at his absolute best as a director. It's, just the quality of the cinematography, the acting is literally first class. They did not back down. They put in the best actors they could get their hands on, and you can tell. Cillian Murphy's incredible, Brendan Gleeson. Right, it's just an amazing film, and for all you purists out there, yes, it's more of a sort of infected film than it is a zombie film.
Yeah,
Just in
that's the
case you're
only
wondering.
complaint I've really heard raised about it is people complain sometimes about fast zombies. If you're
Yeah.
fine with them, you'll like it. If
Yeah.
you're George Romero and think zombies have to be shuffling and slow, you'll hate it because
Yeah.
you can't enjoy movies that deviate slightly from your idea.
Yeah.
But
Going
but
in, I did not like the idea of fast zombies, but it works in this movie's universe and in this movie.
Yeah, Zack Snyder kind of won me over on Fast Zombies, to be honest, when he did Dawn of the Dead. And I've sort of been okay with him since I saw his remake. So,
this is the movie that won me over on Fast Zombies.
Yeah, same.
I think it was the first one I saw with them in it, and hearing about it, I was like, oh, that's stupid. Zombies are supposed to shuffle. But then, like Dan says, it's really more infected than zombies. We're using zombies as a shorthand. And the fact that they gave an explanation for why they could be fast, that was all I needed. It worked fine.
yeah, and there's a slight mild hypocrisy on Romero's part because he also did a film that I'm going to be talking about on my list called The Crazies, which is kind of also it's a sort of an alternate version of 28 Days Later. And, fast zombies and that. Sorry, George.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
he
it's-
was just wanting to be the expert on zombie movies there.
Yeah.
Probably. I feel like I had more to say about that one, but it's whatever. I can't remember anything. Moving on. Oh,
This is
I
why
was
I
gonna-
normally take the lead on these
Yeah,
things.
I was gonna talk about the fast zombies a little more, but I think we kind of covered it pretty well. I think they won me over in fast zombies here, and what I was gonna say is they kayfabe to give us a little reason, and realistically, fast zombies are more of a threat too. And sometimes people complain that zombies aren't big enough threat. So there we go.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on
Legit.
to our penultimate community pick, we're going to talk about The Thing from 1981.
Yes. Here we go. Who wants to take the first, dive on this?
Well, as much as we all love it, I think you're the biggest Thing fan out of the three of us.
I'd say that's
Yeah,
pretty fair.
I am probably more because I was such a huge fan of the original Thing from Another World, and the John W. Campbell story that all these are based on. Right, I did a lot of really hardcore sci-fi reading when I was younger. Frederick Brown, Heinlein, stuff like that. And, Who Goes There was just one of those stories that just draws you in.
I'm
And I
impressed that
loved
was
it.
published on Stone Tablet.
You see what I put up
Yeah,
with?
The Thing from Another
you
World
see- you
came
see
out
what I
when
put
Dan
up
was a
with?
teenager.
I swear to God, I'm going to make my dinosaur step on your head the next time I see you.
You didn't think we were getting through this without some ages.
No, there was
I'm
gonna
not
be
the
some
only one
ageism
getting
going
bullied
on here.
today.
That's right. But when I loved the original, I love 50s sci-fi movies. I adore them. I watch them all the time. I have literal.
You should like more Marvel stuff then.
I no. I like quality stuff, but I have a literal playlist of 50s sci-fi movies.
Sky
and The
Sharks
Thing
might
from
have
Another World.
something to say about quality.
Sky Shark's a whole different animal. Shark films are something that,
We
that
can't go
Bill
down
and I
this
are working on.
We have too many movies to get to.
Stop. Okay, let's refocus here, kids. Come on, children. Remember, people are watching.
We're talking about The Thing right now.
Talking about The Thing, but I love The Thing, the original one, and Carpenter's Thing is a phenomenal step up as far as filmmaking goes for Carpenter. It's a little bit more of a purist version of the original story. Great casting, great film
Oh,
work.
great Cranston.
Everything about this film is superior. And this is a film that got hardcore panned in theaters when it first came out. And I still don't know why, because it's such an amazing film.
Different times.
I think it was misleading advertising from what I've heard.
Really? Possibly. I don't remember the advertising,
They,
so I couldn't say.
from what I've heard, the advertising made it seem much more of a conventional horror movie and less of a tense, atmospheric paranoia fest. And
Yeah.
so audiences went in were really disappointed when they weren't getting more
Well-
fast-paced action.
Okay, fair enough. It is very much an Agatha Christie style.
So they
We've done
wanted
it in a lot
aliens
of
and not
ways.
Alien, is what
Yeah,
you're saying.
exactly.
Yeah, that's fair. That's entirely fair.
No, this
That's
movie
what
is
I've heard, but I mean, it came out before I was born, so I'm not sure how accurate that is.
Yeah,
Oh,
Dan
there
was
you
the only
go.
one alive when that came out, by the way.
That hurts. That really hurts.
That
this,
one wasn't even a joke. It came out the year before I was born.
This
Yeah.
this movie is John Carpenter's finished spectacular though. It's enthralling to watch. It's it's one of those movies that doesn't have to show you everything, and you get the tenseness of just the atmosphere. Like Bill was starting to say, just the tense storytelling. You're on edge. You're wondering what's going to happen next, and then
And you're
what
trying
a-
to figure it out. You're literally sitting there watching.
I mean,
going, "Who is it? I got to get this."
what an ending. And then that's been debated for decades now, too.
Yeah. So there you go. What's the number one? community
Bill,
film?
did you have anything more to say on that one? We didn't really give you as much
So
time.
Not
nobody cares
really,
what Bill thinks.
Okay, I guess we're bullying Bill now, too.
You guys started this. I'm going to finish it. You're
There's
too.
not
You're
really,
too young. Yeah, you're too young, Bill. Forget it. Don't bother. Don't even step up.
Too young. the middle.
I'm going to send you a Spider-Man picture for that.
Oh, that's cold. That's
The
cold.
middle. The
Speaking
middle.
of horror, I said horror films, not horrible films.
But no, there's not really anything more I have to add without going into spoiler territory about what actually happens in the movie, which isn't the point of this podcast.
No, the point is.
Sometime I'm sure we'll do a dedicated episode on the thing where we go into theories about stuff.
Oh, I'm sure
this isn't the place for it.
Yeah.
On that note, let's go to our last official community pick here, as we're going to talk about none other than one of the all-time greats, Alien.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, what a fantastic film.
What a film.
It's an amazing movie. We did have
a little bit of issue whether we were going to choose Alien or Aliens, because they're both fucking all-timers. They're both great.
No, we didn't.
Dan didn't, but
I
us
didn't.
two did.
Aliens is not a horror film.
Yeah, only one of those works as a horror.
Well, true enough.
It doesn't have any Halloween theming or so. That
it's
like
it's
one
not
of
a horror
my
film.
also rans was The Crow, which almost made my list, and that's not a horror film, but it is set at Halloween. Whereas Aliens has no ties to Halloween. It's just a really good action film, whereas Alien is pure claustrophobic horror.
Yeah,
It is.
That's fair
it really
enough,
is.
too.
Yeah.
You can argue all day about which one's a better movie. Both
No, you
are
can't.
great, and
No, you can't.
Alien is an all-time great. It's in museums, for God's sakes, for film history. I don't know. It's just the atmosphere of Alien. It's like The Thing as well. The intensity watching that fucking movie. It might be my favorite suspense movie of all time.
Yeah, it was very much, when it was made, exactly what they wanted it to be, a horror film in space. It's a closet film where the characters are stuck in a specific environment they can't get out of. They have to fight back. They have no choice. It's either fight back or die. Right? And that just, it makes it very claustrophobic. It makes it very tense. And it's dark. You're on a spaceship where you're crawling through the tunnels, for the air vents and things like that. And, you don't, when it first came out, the design of the alien by Geiger.
Groundbreaking special effects.
Oh, yeah, special effects, but Geiger's design for the alien was so freaking horrifying. As it morphed from one style of creature to the next, and you didn't know what to expect.
Geiger designed that thing to hit every single primal fear humans have.
Oh, yeah, he did. And the cast, some of them were very well known, like John Hurt. It was carried well by the cast. You could tell they really got into it, and they had a lot of fun with it. And it was just beautiful to watch. Beautiful as in, like, visually, the set design, the artistic direction, the lighting, everything was just A1. But it was just a great film to sit and watch. Sit there in the dark with people and watch this movie, and your shoulders go up.
And one of the things that's really nice about it in regards to the casting as well is you don't really get any of the cliched characters. Like, there's no damsel in distress or so, because no one knew who was going to...
Veronica Cartwright might argue
She performs it that way, but the character's not written that way because no one knew who was going to play any of the characters at all.
Yes, that's true.
They wrote the characters, and then just whoever came in and could do them the best
got the
role.
role. Yeah.
And so, Veronica Cartwright absolutely takes
She was amazing.
Yeah, she's the one that's insecure and concerned about it. But she's not written as a damsel in distress.
No, she's just very passive-aggressive by nature in the film. Yeah. But, it's such a great movie.
So good.
Ryan?
I didn't think I'd genuinely love it as much as I ended up loving it when I actually sat down to watch it. And it is fantastic. And it isn't faulted for its age, I guess I'd say.
Yeah, it's still aged brilliantly.
It's aged
just
well.
like me.
Not really, but
I mean, I suppose you hit a point of just preservation at some point.
That's right.
I mean,
You know, I have a cup
if
of
you weren't on this
formaldehyde every day.
podcast, you'd be in a natural history museum. Oh, excuse me. If you weren't on this podcast, you'd be in a natural history museum somewhere.
Like somebody else said today, we're glad you haven't turned to dust yet.
Yeah, you're going to pay for that, by the way. You were so going to pay for that, by the way. When you're done laughing, Ryan. Well, while he's laughing his butt off, Bill and I need to make a point to anyone watching of the years of effort that Bill and I have put in getting Ryan to watch some of these bloody movies. We have browbeat them every way we could think of to get them to watch these movies, and they have gone, yeah, I'll get to it, and never done it. So there's going to be a lot
I get to them eventually.
No, he doesn't. He's
now,
lying.
if we can only win them over to truly terrible shark movies.
Oh, well, that's just a lack of personality on his part. Their part.
And
Sorry.
I mean, just for people watching, when we say truly terrible, we mean Sharknado is too good.
In a lot of ways, it really is just too much of a good film to be on the shark list. You know, we're talking Santa Jaws
I love Santa Jaws.
and Raiders of the Lost Shark. You know, we're talking some classic good.
Okay.
Sewer
shark
Sharks is in there too.
movies. Ooh, yes.
Okay.
That one was free on YouTube.
I gotta call. I gotta call an audible here and get us back on track.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair
so,
enough.
Before
That's
we
the
start,
community list.
yeah, that's our community list. Make sure you watch those movies. Those are the top ones that all of us recommend today. So those are the ones you should be watching, if you have to choose. So next, I'm going to have Dan run through his honorable mentions that he came up with. We'll let Bill naturally get to theirs later on when we're cycling. But before we cycle, Dan had a few that he just wanted to quickly shout out. So do you remember your three that you haven't mentioned? You mentioned.
I remember one of them.
Well,
One of the first honorable mentions films that didn't make any of our lists, but I really think I want to mention for anybody who's watching this who's looking for an idea for films that they can watch with younger viewers, right, on Halloween and still enjoy them. There are a couple of movies out there, Beetlejuice being one of them. It is a fun family film. It's still got some pretty creepy moments in it, but it's not the sort of film that would terrify children as much as amuse them. Right.
Yeah,
so
it's written with children in mind.
yeah,
I
and
have watched
it's
that
a
movie, but
great
not
film.
since I was a kid. I don't remember it.
Bingo. Same. And you know, it's just fun. I also wanted to mention Bram Stoker's Dracula,
There we go.
which originally completely slipped my mind when we were making these lists, and it wouldn't have made my list, but having rewatched it recently with some friends, I can tell you that my first impressions of the film when I saw it when it first came out were, whatever, it's not that good. Rewatching it, I went back and said, you know, there's a lot about this film that's actually great. Everybody can watch it. It's not going to make you stay up at night. It's not going to make you sleep with the lights on. Why is this a shock? Anybody watching this podcast, just assume that Ryan hasn't watched anything we're talking about. Okay,
If it's
just
not
none
on
of it.
their list, they haven't seen it.
That's right. And half the stuff on their list, we question whether they've watched it. We
I
do.
saw.
This might have just been the result of a quick Google for Halloween movies that won't embarrass me.
That's right.
I
He's
saw-
literally, if you could reverse the camera, you'd see IMDb up there right now. is what you'd see.
I saw two of Dan's and one of yours. So
One champion. Is
Bingo.
that counting the honorable mentions?
no.
Okay. No, we really went through the agonies of the damned to get Ryan to watch some of these movies. Anyway, my third film that I wanted to mention, fun family horror, was Hocus Pocus with Bette Midler, et cetera, et cetera. Great family fun, good film, well acted, well produced, very much worth watching if you want to watch a horror film with your kids on Halloween. It's a perfect choice. So that's
I'm
my
gonna-
honorable mentions.
Yeah, I'm going to throw in one that's good with kids that literally just came to me 2 minutes ago.
Calling an audible. Okay.
And that is The Witches.
Yes, The Witches. Oh my God, yes, with Angelica Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have no
love
idea
that
if
film.
the sequel that just came out is any good, but the original is a great one for like a true
Yeah.
family film that
Yes,
you want
it's
to
a
do on
it's a
Halloween.
good Halloween choice for families.
Oh my God! I just came up with one too. I'm calling an audible now.
Okay.
So mine is my honorable mention. I didn't even have an honorable mention until now, so that's why I'm fine calling this audible.
That's
course.
because you've only
Of course.
seen 8 movies.
Totally.
Yeah, and guess what? 4 of them are this fucking franchise, Halloween Town, Disney Channel.
You've lost me. I have
I
no
like
idea.
Yeah, I think this is a truly you recommendation. I
It's
can't even
Disney-
mock you for it.
They're Disney
Yeah.
Channel movies that came out in the early 2000s. It was my fucking childhood. There was 4 of them. The first one, the last one, I think are the best. But
You're out of your childhood finally? Oh my God!
I never had one. But anyway,
We can tell.
one last honorable mention that Dan had, which wasn't a family related one. This is the only one not family related that
yeah, there
Dan
was
wanted to
another one.
talk about. Do you remember it?
No.
Dog
Sorry,
Soldiers.
I threw so many titles at you before we started. I've lost half of them.
Dog Soldiers is the one really want to talk.
Yes, Bill, you want to step on this one?
Yeah, Dog Soldiers also spent time on my list before getting cut in favor
Yeah.
of other stuff.
It was on
So-
both their lists for a bit.
Yeah.
It is fantastic.
It's just a really
haven't watched
fun
it.
werewolf movie.
Wow. Wow, they are in a mood tonight, aren't they?
Half this podcast from now on is going to be me pissing them off. I might
I
just
don't know,
purposely
people.
say
I
if
don't
I've
know
watched
yet.
I might just purposely say if I've watched a movie or not from now on, just to.
I might pretend that I accidentally stumbled across this podcast while I was supposed to be on another one. Totally disremoved from these two clowns.
But I like Dog Soldiers. It's probably not going to win any awards on anything.
No.
But if you're just looking for a good, fun werewolf movie,
Yeah, a good solid werewolf movie. Like it
it's
really
a
is
genre
good.
that's not done
it's up
that
there.
often. There are very few good werewolf movies out there.
So
Yeah,
it's
if
up
you
there
like
with
American Werewolf in London, you'll like Dog Soldiers.
it's up there with Twilight, is it?
Oh my God, I swear. I swear.
I will find out where you live. And I
Yeah.
will come to your house and suffocate you in your sleep.
You've been here before.
I will go to where you work and I will sit there and throw freaking Cheerios at you all day. I'm serious. Wow.
I mean, come on. Twilight can't be
Wow.
more than the 5th best werewolf movie or something. And
Hmm.
that really speaks to the lack of quality in werewolf movies, rather
Well-
than the quality in Twilight.
Yeah, werewolf movies are a whole subgenre that rarely, if ever, gets a lot of love from directors, writers. And again, I only mention Dog Soldiers because it did get enough love and enough sort of effort to make it worth watching. Right. Ginger Snaps, Dog Soldiers,
American
there's really-
Werewolf,
American Werewolf in London.
the original Wolfman.
we need
Wolfen
Robert.
is also
Oh, I love Wolfman, but
yeah.
We need Robert Eggers to make a film called The Wolf.
No, we really don't. Don't listen to him. Do not listen to him.
Okay, I think we spent enough time on our honorable mentions. Bill will have a couple later while we're cycling
That a
through
good tossed in.
our list.
yeah, a couple of mine are really more director recommendations that I just picked the sample movie that I thought was the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll get to those as we go along.
I'm sitting up too much. There we go.
So now we are going to start our own personal list. Remember, we have 10 picks each. So we are going to cycle through. It's going to go Dan,
All right,
me,
Chair
and then
Pervert.
Bill. Dan doesn't even have the full context, but it's still
I
funny.
don't need the full context on it. He's just being a. Never mind.
So we're gonna go to we're gonna go to fucking Dan now, who's gonna start us off on our cycle. So what's
Okay,
your first
okay.
pick for today? Dan?
Okay. I have 10 films that I want to recommend to anybody who wants to watch horror films on Halloween night. If you have some friends coming over, or if you're alone, you want to hide under the covers and watch these on, your computer, doesn't matter. Here's 10 films that I really, really, really recommend.
Just remember,
Okay.
we're doing one at a time.
Yep. So
You're-
the first movie I'm going to recommend, my first, is The Descent, 2005 film. Amazing, scary film. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but it's basically the story of a woman who's having deep personal problems, whose friends drag her off on a spelunking vacation to try and help her get away from everything. And they go to the Appalachian Mountains, go spelunking in a cave that's been found, and it turns horrifying. Just horrifying. The suspense is just ratcheted up to a full 10. The casting is great. The acting is fantastic. It's actually a British film, even though it takes place in the U.S. And every single thing about this movie is worth watching. It's such a great horror film.
And if you hadn't taken it, it would have been on my list. So
Yeah.
I
Okay.
agree with everything you said.
I've watched reviews on it, and it's really good.
And again, he
Looks
hasn't
really-
seen it, so he doesn't know what he's talking about. Ignore him.
I don't, but I mean, I feel I'm comfortable enough to say it arguably had a sequel that didn't need to be made, but
No, the sequel never should have been made.
There
Just
is no
shouldn't have been
sequel
made.
to Descent.
Yeah, it never should have happened.
I love when Bill does that.
Nothing you can say will convince me there's a sequel to Descent.
Yeah, no.
That was a 2-hour fever dream.
Yep, it was. And a horrible fever dream at that. When we were recovering from COVID or something, we were, delirious on the couch, and we thought we saw a movie called Descent 2. It was not real. And who's next?
It's me next. I think for my first pick, I'm going to go with one that I don't necessarily have as much to say on, probably. So I'm going to go with none other than one that is an in-between Halloween and Christmas, as my first pick is Black Christmas, the original one from 1974, not either of the remakes, because I'm not insane. Well, that's not true. But I have a little bit of taste sometimes, only sometimes. And the 1974 one is by far the one that needs to be talked about. It is ahead of its time. I think it's quite good. You could argue it's a little slow, but it has aspects of suspense to it as well. The killer not really fully being seen is pretty cool. I think a lot of it's just, I think there's a lot there. The movie probably doesn't get enough credit for what it should have, considering how early in the slasher type genre it was and everything. I don't know if I have much more to say than that. I don't know if either of these two like that movie, but
No, it's a good, solid choice. It was one of the first.
probably one of my
slasher
best
films.
choices, if you guys were being honest.
Yeah, it was one of the first slasher films, and it's got some fantastic pedigree, some great acting. Definitely worthy of being on the list.
Great. It's a great movie for it's ahead of its time in terms of roles for women too. It great for giving women a flap.
It's a typical final girls slasher film, but unlike Sorority House and things like that, this film broke a lot of ground that a lot of films in the 80s and 90s sort of jumped on that bandwagon. But it was one of the first. It was fantastically done. It was definitely worthy of being on the list.
And I'll leave them to gush about that one, because as you'll realize with my list, I don't like most conventional horror movies. So no surprise, I did not terribly enjoy Black Christmas, and that's not a strike against it so much as what I look for in a movie.
Yeah, rather unique taste. So what is the first film on your list, Bill?
Keep in mind that
first
Knowingly.
Bill's order is going from the safest movie to least safe.
Yes,
The most disturbing film.
my list comes with a disclaimer in that the only times I really enjoy a horror movie are the type that just kind of eat into you and start bothering you years after you've seen it.
Yeah, kind of like Donald Trump's home movies.
That's a whole different type of horror.
It's still horrifying. Still eats
Oh,
at you
absolutely.
for years.
Yes, but I'm a firm believer that if the problem can be solved with a shotgun, it's not that horrifying.
Granted, but
So,
if that
like,
was true, Jersey Shore wouldn't exist.
Once again, wrong type of horrifying.
Sorry.
Dan's taking
Yeah.
liberties now.
Anyway, with enough of that mocking, my conventional pick is Eden Lake.
Excellent film. Excellent film.
Oh, absolutely. It's...
I haven't seen it.
What a surprise.
I'm shocked. Oh my God, another movie that they haven't seen.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's the tale of a group of people going on vacation out at a lake and running afoul of the local teenagers that just enjoy killing people for reasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a slasher. It's one of the more conventional movies I recommend, but the ending is what elevated it higher. Unfortunately, as with most of my picks, I can't describe exactly why I love it without ruining the movie for you, and you really need to experience them for yourself.
Yeah.
The thing that you viewers should know about Bill kind of is anti-slasher, doesn't really like slashers, so for a slasher to be here is an interesting note too.
Yeah.
I don't like slashers, and while I enjoy monster movies, I generally don't find them scary.
Yeah, and I want to point out that a lot of the movies we've recommended already, a lot of them are actually British films. The British do fantastic horror films when they do horror films. Right? If they're going to make the effort to do one, it's going to be well done. Right.
Next time we should get into some French ones.
Oh, that's coming.
Oh, that's coming. That's coming.
I mean, spoiler, my number one is a French film.
Yes. Okay,
Anyway.
so let's go on to my second film on my list of movies I would recommend to watch on Halloween. This one is probably the most unlikely film to end up on my list as a recommendation. I just love this film so much. I think it's probably one of the greatest unsung classic horror films you're ever going to see. It's called Ravenous. It came out in 1999, and it is this incredible black comedy. Robert Carlyle, Guy Pearce, right? Jeffrey Combs. There's a fantastic list of actors in this film. It was kind of a low-budget bottle film again, a story of some people on the edges of civilized society as they're settling further and further and further west. It is it's also a take on the Donner Party. It is not about the Donner Party, but there are elements from that event that lead into the film that you're going to be watching if you watch Ravenous. But the performances are fantastic. It's just such an incredible dark comedy. You need to watch it just to watch this cast chew up the scenery and just have the time of their lives making a fun film. Right, and it is scary. Like it is, there are some genuinely scary moments in this movie, but they're not visual, visceral horror. It's more the sort of the psychological horror of what's happening around them that sort of motivates and pushes the film forward. It's just incredible. And there we go.
I do love Ravenous. That was a great movie.
I haven't seen it.
Again, who's shocked? I'm not. Are you shocked, Bill? You don't
Absolutely
look
not.
shocked. Yeah, I was going to say you don't look shocked at all.
I'm not shocked. I'm just disappointed.
Crushed. My heart hurts from his lack of interest in good horror films. Just terrifying.
Oh my, you guys are gonna rip me
He shouldn't
apart for
even
some
be
of
in
my
this
picks coming up.
podcast. Yeah, I don't know why we even have him on this podcast. Right. I guess we felt sorry for him. We did. We felt so bad for him because he's who he is.
You're getting
They're-
replaced with an inflatable shark at some point, Ryan.
You are. I swear to God.
I didn't even. Oh no, my headset got unplugged.
Okay, Ryan, you're number 2.
Probably literally. My number 2 is an interesting choice because a lot of people are going to be like, why the fuck did you choose the second movie here? and I'll go into that
Because it's
now.
one of the few films he's ever seen.
I've seen both, but I don't know, there's something about this one.
Oh,
And that is The Strangers Prey at Night, the 2018 semi-loose sequel to the 2005 original, just called the title The Strangers.
yeah.
Loosely based on true events, not really fully, but it's kind of
Very
loosely,
loosely.
very loosely
Very
based on
loosely.
true events. The original, that is, more than even this one. There's just something. It turns out I'm probably going to have a few honorable mentions as we go along, just for talking about why I chose something over something else. But I chose Prey at Night over The Strangers because there's something about the familiar aspect of the movie of having a whole family dynamic there that I think gives, for me, an edge over the original, even though you could argue that objectively the original is probably a better movie. I love the familial aspect of Prey at Night. I think the brother and sister do a great job as the main two. The parents are greatly cast too. The guy that plays the dad, I love in everything I've seen him in. I think it's cool that it's a sequel, but it's also a conclusion to The Strangers. Because sure, there was a lot left open you could have done with The Strangers, but it's kind of cool there's a conclusion in this to a point. I'm not going to say exactly what that conclusion is, but it's cool to see. I like this. Both Strangers movies are really good. For me, Prey at Night just has elements that tops it up for me. And yeah, they probably hate that pick, but here I am.
No, I don't hate it. I think it's a lesser child of the original. I did like the original. Liv Tyler, Scott Speedman. It was fantastic. It really was.
It's great. I just objectively, the original is a better movie. There's just parts of it that I enjoy more for Prey at Night. That is the reason why it's on my list.
Constantly amazed that Prey at Night came out in 2018. It feels to me like something out of the 80s.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a compliment or a dig.
Don't tell him, Bill. Don't respond.
That depends entirely on your opinion of 80s horror movies.
Yeah.
All the ones I've seen have been great, so.
Okay, shall we go on to number 3?
Well, we should do my two first.
Oh, sorry, we completely skipped over Bill's 2.
Maybe we don't
My
have
bad.
to.
I mean,
Sorry.
that's the happiest movie on my list.
Which is why we're going to try and skip over Bill again.
Yes.
We're going to do this every round. Okay, Bill, what's your number 2?
Yes. For those looking for something a little more cheerful from my list, we have Wolf Creek.
Oh my fucking god. Cheerful.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, my God, what a great film. Oh,
It's an absolute brilliant take on the much maligned werewolf genre, as we were mentioning earlier, where a town is being threatened by something.
Whoa, that's not Wolf Creek.
Wait, am I not thinking of the right one?
No,
Wolf
you're
Creek?
not.
You're not. Oh. Whoa.
Wolf Creek, we're in the Outback.
Yeah, the Australian Outback, the serial killer in the Outback that kills
I
the
haven't seen it,
hikers.
and I know what's going on.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Oh,
I knew this when I made the list, and then I forgot.
okay.
Because I've seen a bunch of these. So it's still my more conventional picks, but it's not the happy one I was thinking of. For some reason, I got a different one.
Yeah, sort of.
Wolf was in the title, and it was game over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
it confuses them. English is really hard for these people, so it's okay. Don't worry. We'll walk them through it.
This is what
Okay,
happens when I
we
make the
get
list.
it. You've gone to
This is
university
what happens
60
when I make
times.
the list a month before I actually record the podcast.
That's right. Yeah, we've been planning on this for over a month, and we just haven't gotten around to doing it.
Yes. But as they mentioned, this is a serial killer film in the Outback, so we're still more towards the slasher side of things.
Yeah. Yeah, this is an
will change.
Australian Texas Chainsaw Massacre concept, only it's horrifying. Wolf Creek is
Oh, yes.
scary. It's a genuinely scary film.
Yes, it is. As soon as they pointed out what my mistake was, I realized that, yeah, this is one of the darker films that I've seen.
I still think it fits being early on in your list, though.
Oh, yeah, because it does have the more conventional storytelling, and as we go on, they get artier.
Well, there's also
do.
the first, 40 to 45 minutes that kind of give you a false sense of security, too, so...
Yeah. Oh, that's
Not that
actually
I've seen
legit.
the movie,
That's well said. He hasn't seen any of this.
I mean, that's kind of a trend with a lot of my movies, that they start off fairly comfortable, and then you're missing that by the end of them.
Yeah. But okay, so there you
Bill
go.
likes being bamboozled.
Okay.
So I guess number 3 for Dan, then.
And then number 3, and my number 3 is actually one of the older horror films. Back when the movie The Exorcist came out, it was a horror film that became a mainstream film, and it was a really rare event because normally horror films were relegated to B-level production, B-level release. You know, you got to see them in the drive-in. You know, horror films just weren't something that a lot of people, talked about. But The Exorcist changed all of that when it came out and drove a lot of people to go out and start watching horror films. And one of the offshoots of The Exorcist was a movie called The Changeling. And The Changeling is one of those incredible psychological it is a psychological horror, but it's about a ghost. But there's almost no blood in this film. This is not a slasher flick. This is not a murder flick. This is a film that is so incredibly tense. It's like a haunting, but everything about this film is brilliantly made. George C. Scott, Oscar winner, stars in it. Trish Van Deer is in it. John Calicos, some of the greatest Canadian actors you're going to find out there from that era, in these 70s, 80s. And The Changeling is probably, in my personal opinion, one of the best horror films ever made. And it's never really been given the recognition it deserved. So that's my third pick.
And it's a good one.
Pretty strong.
Have you seen it, Ryan?
No. Pretty strong opinions, though.
Oh no! I really do think it's one of the best horror. It's the
I've
only
heard a lot
horror
of good
film.
talk about it recently, so it's one of the ones on you guys' list I actually genuinely want to watch.
Yeah, it's literally the only film I've ever watched in a theater where moments happened in the film that people around me in the theater were like screaming, scared, jumping, cringing, looking away from the film. And it's like I said, there's no blood in this film. Literally, there's 1-2 second scene in this film that has almost no, just has the slightest bit of blood in it. It's not that kind of film, and it made people cringe. People came away from that scared. I walked away from it remembering it for the rest of my life. I remember my older brother jumping out of his seat while we were watching it. It was just amazing. So, off to Ryan.
So my next pick, my third pick, I am gonna go with what year is this movie from? I'm gonna search it up while I talk about it. I'm gonna go with the original Unfriended movie. There is a second one that's pretty good too. I like both of them, and the original here is from 2014. There we go. I knew it's been a while. Unfriended is one of the better takes on the new trend that had come out in horror movies of them doing the horror movies all through a webcam type deal, where they're captured over video chats, whatever's going on. The approach of it being all captured in an online setting. And this is one of the better versions of that, I think. It has a big supernatural element. It's the driving force in terms of horror of this movie is the supernatural elements of it. I think, which is probably what gives it the edge for me over the sequel Dark Web, because Dark Web is more of a realistic take where there's actual people behind the actions taking place instead of a supernatural being behind what's going on. I like the supernatural aspect a little more, so that's why I went with the original. There's some really good fucking kills in this for a movie that's shot from webcams and everything. Like some really good ones. One of my favorite horror movie kills I've ever seen is in this movie. And yeah, that's probably about it. I've also I watched this with my sister too. So this is one that's got this is one that has some good memories with this one. So yeah, that's about it.
All right. Dan, you're muted.
Sorry, guys. I was munching on something, so I kind of muted myself.
Yeah, but then I could see you were trying to say something.
I thought Dan might have just been mocking me, but
I wasn't sure, so I figured I'd say it in case he wasn't.
Yeah. No, it's a good choice. Definitely not my favorite by any stretch, but I did see the film, and it wasn't that bad.
Wasn't that,
Surprisingly well done.
I'll take it wasn't that bad. I think
I
for
don't
the type
love it, but for that genre, it's definitely the best one out
for
there.
that subgenre
Yes,
of
absolutely.
horror movies, I think it is the top of the game.
What movie subgenre, as in subgenre where movies that Ryan has actually seen?
Well, no, it's not that, because I know Ryan has seen Alien,
Okay, that's fair.
and that is actually a good movie.
Guys,
okay,
we
we're
had
hitting
the
the hour
community
mark
picks.
here, and we still have a ways to go. So,
Yeah.
Bill?
Dan, pick number 4.
All right.
Oh
for
wait,
my-
Bill. I did it this time.
Am I nothing to you?
Apparently.
We both did it to Bill.
Sorry, Bill. It's our fault.
I'll live.
Okay,
Anyway.
go for it.
For my third pick, I have the one on my list you're most likely to have already seen if you're not Ryan,
Yeah.
and that is Hereditary.
Wait, I've seen 2 on your list now because I watched Hereditary recently. Remember?
No, I think you've
Wow.
only seen one, because one of mine you've only seen the inferior American remake.
No,
okay.
you're forgetting one, but we'll get to it later.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
Anyway, Hereditary really is a stand-in for the works of Ari Aster, because both it and Midsommar are brilliant horror movies. I like
Yes.
Hereditary more just because the concept is more grounded,
Yeah.
because it's centered entirely on one family dealing with the death of the family matriarch and the fallout from it.
Yeah.
And that's really all I'm going to say about that, in case you haven't seen it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's,
But the
there's not much more.
performances are brilliant in it. Every single member of the main cast does an absolutely brilliant job, although the standout goes to Toni Collette.
Yes. Toni Collette proving yet again she's one of the unsung talents of the business.
Yes.
And I agree with Bill. It's one of those films you don't want to spoil with people. You need to see it yourself. You really, really do.
It's pretty good. I kind of ruined it for myself, that one too, but it's still really good. It's still really
You
good.
need to stop watching videos on movies you haven't seen.
Yeah,
Never.
don't just spoil these movies by watching these YouTube reviews, dude.
Especially horror, genre that's built on having twist endings.
Tell James to stop making kill count videos on movies I haven't seen. No,
But stop watching the bloody challenge
No.
films until you've seen the movie.
they're too good.
No, but wait until you've seen the movie. Oh,
Yeah.
do you
If
see what we
you
go through,
wa-
people?
If you watch shit on a movie you haven't seen yet, you've only got yourself to blame when you spoil it for yourself.
He does
Yeah,
say all
it-
the time to watch the movie before you watch the episodes, but
Because I swear to God, if you turn around one more time and say, well, I watched YouTube Angry Review, or I watched this, or I watched that before you watch the film, I'm going to boots you, laddie.
I'll let you know how it goes when I watch Midsommar eventually.
How many reviews of that have you watched already?
Only one.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Actually, that might be a lie. It might have been 2.
Oh,
Anyways,
see what we go through. You see what we go through.
any more notes on Hereditary? I am a child. I am a saint.
He's a child. He's
There's
just
not
a child.
much more I can say about Hereditary.
Without
And this is
ruining it.
kind of a trend on my list that I'm very limited in what I can say on pretty much every movie from here without ruining the experience for people.
Yeah, we
okay.
want you to be traumatized for yourself.
Okay, well, my next film is not going to traumatize you.
No, quite the opposite, probably.
No, my number 4 is a movie called Anna and the Apocalypse. It's a zombie film. It's
I've been so
very
excited for you to talk
tongue-in-cheek.
about this one.
This is a really super low budget film with almost, well, literally no recognizable actors in it. But when they made it, I'm not sure what they were thinking when they made it, but it turned out to be one of the best films I've ever seen. It was funny. It was charming. The girl who takes the lead in this film's never really done anything like this before, and she was freaking brilliant.
Won multiple film festival awards.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you want a film that's, a zombie film, but is just completely different from anything else you've ever seen, with the exception of maybe of Fido, this is the movie you want to watch.
I wouldn't even put it that close to Fido.
Yeah, it's just a musical zombie movie, and it's brilliant. I've loved every minute of it. Just loved it. Ryan hasn't seen it, so he has no input.
Yes, I went in expecting to hate it because it's a musical zombie movie.
Yeah.
I did not hate it. I, in fact, adore it almost as much as Dan does.
Yeah, I do adore this film. This is literally one of my favorite zombie films ever. Yeah. And Ryan, do you have any input on this? Have you seen this movie?
Have you seen the kill count on this movie?
There isn't one. Ha.
Ooh. But have you seen it, Ryan?
No.
Okay. Why, Bill, you want to
You knew
explain
the
to me
answer.
why he's on this podcast in the first place?
Because they started it.
Oh, they did. Okay, that's fair. Okay, so yeah, Anna and the Apocalypse. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It's a 2017 film. Definitely so much fun. You got to see it. And we'll go off to Ryan, who's probably going to recommend another Disney film.
My 4th pick. Nah, the family movie's probably going to be my next pick. I'm going with Happy Death Day on this one.
Happy Death Day. Interesting choice.
Interesting
choice.
I like movies that play around with the concept of repeating the same day over and over. There's
Groundhog
another
Day,
movie like
yeah.
that I love that isn't really horror related that I am not remembering the name of right now.
It's Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Hey, Bill, you want to explain to me why Ryan will reach out, throw a title like Happy Death Day out there when there's movies like It Follows available to him?
I've never finished it.
Because they've
Follows.
never
I started
seen it.
I tried to watch that one, and I
That's
got
another honorable
disinterested.
mention for my list.
Oh, absolutely. It Follows is way better than people realized it was.
The premise sounds awful, but it's
The
Oh, it does.
the movie that I was thinking of that isn't a horror movie, but I love the concept. I just love the repeating the same day concept and them trying to get out of
This
the
better
loop.
not be that shitty Tom Cruise movie.
No, it's Before I Fall. You guys probably don't even know what it is.
Okay, that's
no,
fair.
I know that movie. And you know what? That's a
2017.
legit good film. Yes.
It's really fucking good. I love that movie. But
That's a
anyways,
legit choice.
Yeah,
back
that's
to the
fair.
back to the horror movie. That is, well, it's not even fully horror. It's a horror. It's like it's kind of horror adjacent. I mean, it has got elements. There's a killer. There's a serial killer in it or whatever, but kind of.
Yeah, what's not horrifying about that?
They wear a baby face, so that's pretty horrifying. I just really like the concept, and the cast is fun. They're funny. It's a pretty funny movie. I think the cast is pretty well done. The main girl Tree does the role really well and gets the main idea of portraying repeating the same fucking day over and over again. Gets that across well. It's one of my more fun picks. I
Okay.
just wanted a fun pick, and I also just really enjoy the movie. And I think I had seen the sequel not like a couple months before we did this list too, so it was kind of fresh in my mind still. So here we go. Actually, I think I just watched a review on the sequel. I haven't even watched it yet in full.
Of course, you watched the review first.
I watched
Of
the kill
course.
count.
Of
I
course.
watched the kill count. That's what it was.
I swear we're going to find a way to block that from you,
No, you're not.
just so you can't watch it anymore.
I am breaking into your house and putting parental controls on your YouTube.
Yeah, I think we should. I think
No.
we should. Yes, absolutely.
I won't
Got to
have
get a hold of
anything
your
to
cousin
watch.
and ask her to help. You should, get her to tell us how we can do this.
Anyways, I think
God.
we'll go to Bill's fourth pick now.
I'm not taking the blame for this, by the way, people. Bill and I tried really hard to influence him properly, and we failed horribly. Okay, Bill.
All right, fourth on my list of movies Ryan should watch but hasn't is The Others.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
That was the best way to introduce that movie.
I know, I'm proud of it. The Others is an absolutely brilliant haunted house movie. About
Bonkers
a
film.
family living in a house and starting to see mysterious happenings occurring around them and the fallout of that. And once again, I cannot go into more detail because these are the sort of movies that really need to be experienced for yourself and not witnessed through the lens of a kill count.
I just realized I have a couple movies relating to houses on my list. I'm gonna no-sell that.
But the performances are brilliant in The Others. The setting is brilliant. The casting, everything about it. And the ending is one of the more creative ways I've seen a haunted house movie end.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree. It was a surprise when I first saw it. I wasn't expecting it to be what it was. I don't know if that was just bad advertising or what, but I went into the film going, this looks interesting. And the ending, just fantastic. It's slightly telegraphed, but still fantastic.
I mean, the advertising was horrible on that film, so
It really
I
was.
was expecting it to be pretty mediocre, and I only watched it because I had nothing else to do, but
Yeah.
I'm so glad I did.
Yeah, this is the kind of film M. Night Shyamalan would make if he had any talent. Right. It is. Like, if he had any talent as a
Spicy.
director, this is the kind of film he would make. Right, because
Shots
it's a
fired.
great idea. Shots fired. He gets
Absolutely
great ideas.
deserved, but
Yeah, if the man had any talent, because he starts out with these great ideas and then just literally drops the ball halfway, across the pitch. It's just like, oops. And I'll
especially
just end film.
once he got known for having twists in his films.
Yeah, clumsy,
And then he's
ham-handed, well-telegraphed
but then he's like-
twist.
I need to put another twist in my film because people expect the twist. And
Yeah.
so then he'd do the twist just because people expected it from him.
Yeah, and instead of actually doing a twist, it was just Chubby Checkers singing.
Yeah. Anyway, less shitting on M. Night Shyamalan and more moving on to Dan's next pick.
Oh, okay. My next pick is actually probably the one that I debated the most about putting on this list because I am a zombie film aficionado. I've got like hundreds of zombie films personally. I love zombie films. Always have been a huge fan since I saw White Zombie back in the late 60s. I've loved zombie movies.
I feel like the white zombie you're thinking of isn't the same white zombie I'm thinking of.
Probably not. I'm talking the Bela Lugosi White Zombie film.
Whereas I'm
Okay.
talking the Rob Zombie fronted metal band.
Oh, no. I'm talking about Lugosi's first foray into zombie films. And anyway, I debated which of these foreign zombie films I was going to actually put on the list. And the winner turned out to be Train to Busan. Probably one of the most affecting zombie films that I've seen ever. I didn't think, after having watched 28 Days Later, that anybody else would be able to bring their A game to zombie films. That 28 Days was kind of an aberration, being as amazing a film as it is. And then Train to Busan came out, and I found out I was really, really wrong. This movie is bonkers. It is so freaking good. it's just amazing, right? Everything about it, just it's so unique and different and original, and oh God, I cannot recommend this movie enough. If you like zombie films, Train to Busan is an absolute must. And the movie it beat out, incidentally, is a movie called The Sadness, which came out recently. Another foreign film.
We don't need to go into the
Fantastic.
sadness too much right now, Dan.
Okay, but just so you know.
It's on
get out
my
there.
list.
Oh, okay. Hey, there we go. We don't have to worry about it then. So yes, Train to Busan. Gotta watch it if you like zombie movies. You got to watch this. And off to Ryan.
Off to me. The cycle
Yo,
might
wake
get
up.
messed up
Come
a
on.
little bit later on. But here we go. The next movie for me. I'm going to go to my family pick, I think, here. One of my house movies. A personal childhood favorite of mine. It is Monster House from 2006. I just really fucking love this movie. It's not got the best ratings or anything, but I personally think it's great. The main kid in the movie, the main kid in the movie lives across the street from what turns out to be what turns out to be a monster house, a haunted house, with the spirit of the old curmudgeonly neighbor's wife in it, and they just think he's this old grumpy man, and it's a whole thing. It's
Like
really
me.
good. It's really good. One of my favorites from childhood. Can't recommend it enough. I think the animation's pretty cool too. I just think it's a lot of fun. I don't really have much to say without spoiling anything on that one, so I'm gonna pull
I
it
will
up.
say the scariest thing about the old grumpy man was that he was leaving his Liverpool jerseys everywhere.
You're not funny. You're so not funny. Har, 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 har. And just for charity's sake, har.
And when the witching hour rolls around, you hear the ghastly voice of, "Damn you, Spider-Man!"
Yeah, there I am on my knees shouting as the camera pans away. Damn you, Stan Lee. Damn you all to hell. You maniac, you did it. Sorry, little Charlton Heston reference there.
I got it, but I'm cultured.
What's that like?
It means he's watched movies. Just mentioning that, Ryan.
Well, I
Not
didn't
mentioned
They've
think
been
it
names,
was.
fermenting
Ryan.
for a while.
I didn't think it was from being white. So,
Uh-huh. Right.
anyways, Bill's. This is number 5, right? Yeah, number 5.
Yes.
Number 5th pick.
For my 5th pick, I have The Lodge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of saw Bill picking this one.
Yeah, we're getting an insight into the type of movies I like now.
Yeah.
This is an extremely bleak family. And when I say family, I mean movie about a family, not a movie for watching with your family, especially
Yep.
if they're younger. Movie about a family going on holidays to a remote cabin, along with the father's new wife, who is a cult survivor, and the fallout of that. Once again, I can't go into anything more that happens, but it's got utterly heart-wrenching performances in it. Another movie with brilliant casting. The setting is fantastic. I love the cinematography for it. And honestly, it's probably the movie that bothered me the most of my list after I finished watching it.
Interesting.
It's
I haven't
just
seen it.
the conclusion sticks with you.
Ah. Yeah, Ryan wouldn't know anything about that because he doesn't watch movies. Just saying.
Yes, but now for the people that do watch movies, Dan, do you have any thoughts on it?
On that one,
Yes.
it's not a film I personally would have recommended for a Halloween list, but it is an
Way to bury Bill's
incredible
list.
film. Like, it didn't make it into my top 20. Is the thing.
I can see not thinking of it for a Halloween list because the source of the horror is very unconventional.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Like, it's arguably a drama rather than a horror movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It is more drama than horror, but it's still got some excellent horror elements in it that make it worthy being on the list.
Yeah, I would wholeheartedly define it as a horror.
Yeah. Yeah, it deserves to be there. Like I say, it just didn't make my top 20. And the problem being that I've watched hundreds and hundreds of horror movies in my life. I love horror films. I love the genre as a whole. I love all the subgenres. I love watching horror films. So when I was making my list, I had a pretty big base to kind of have to pick through and throw away from. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Right.
a good thing you know so many movies. It comes in handy.
it does when you're trying to do a movie podcast.
Yeah.
How does that feel,
It
Ryan?
comes in handy when you have an oversight, Anyways,
Right.
um,
If you hear our phones binging, it's because there's only 9 films
Pretend
on
you
my
don't.
list of 10. Right, it's us talking to each other while we're doing this, and they're both curious as to what the 10th film is that I'm going to mention. They don't know what it is.
Dan technically has a
Okay?
surprise pick now that none of us know about.
Yeah, it's coming at
so
the very end.
We'll see what that's going to be.
have an inkling as to what it is, and if I'm right, you will get to hear me swear at Dan in real time.
Oh, no, it's
Well,
no,
you're just going to
actually,
push it that direction.
I'm not going to tell you what this film is. Okay, you're going to have to wait.
Okay, that's
It's a
fine.
surprise.
In the meantime, we'll get to your
Surprise,
6th pick.
surprise.
What's
Okay,
pick
so
number
where are we
6
at?
for
We're at
Dan?
number 6. Okay,
Yes.
number 6 for me is a remake. Something I thought I would never ever do, other than
Holy
The Thing,
shit.
obviously. But yes, it's a remake, and it is a remake of a George Romero film, and it is a worthy remake if you like horror movies that are going to scare the crap out of you. They're not really. This movie isn't going to last with you. You're not going
He
to think
mentioned
about it
this
the
one
next day.
earlier, too.
Yeah, it's a movie called The Crazies, 2009, a remake of Romero's original ecological horror nightmare films. And it is a great little slice of film. History, great performances, great actors. Really, really good cast. And it is one of those films that it's worth watching simply because it is sort of the American version of 28 Days Later. Right, is all I can really tell you about it. It's kind of a biological horror film, fantastic performances, good cinematography, really high production values, really good movie. So that's my input on that one. The Crazies, got to see it.
I actually have only seen the original of that one.
Fun fact, I've never seen a George A. Romero movie.
And just like that, all the heat is back off me.
I'm glad
I
You're
just
welcome.
don't know how to respond anymore.
You're welcome. I'm glad I waited to throw that revelation out there till the podcast.
I mean, I'm not
why are you
surprised.
here? No, I'm not shocked. I'm just heartbroken and disappointed.
Wasn't this your
That's
idea
Russian.
too?
That's
Yeah.
the main. That's the main.
You're the one who came up with doing a list of movies, and it's mostly
For
just because
Halloween, yeah.
Yeah, and you're the one who hasn't. Oh wait, I'm on to you. It was that you haven't seen any movies. You needed stuff to watch.
That's the main.
Hey,
So you're
Yeah.
like, I'll spend an hour on IMDb, and I'll get a bunch of good movie recommendations from the other two.
Yeah, that's right. I get it. You're right, Bill. You're right. You're right. We're being used. We are. This is horrible. So
Just for
let's
that,
go
I'm
on.
changing my next pick to VHS.
Good choice. Good choice. Okay, Ryan, go ahead. That's your
Ryan's
number
seen the
6.
kill count on that. He knows what I'm talking about.
Yep. Go ahead, Ryan. Do it. Oh,
I broke them.
and we've lost them. They're remember to breathe.
Bill, oh my God, Bill just Oh,
He broke you.
Bill just went crazy. That was great. Okay, my next pick. I think I'm gonna go with what would be probably the most well-known, most watched out there pick on my list. The most mainstream one. A little movie from 2002. One that Bill and I passed back and forth a little bit. But I decided that I landed on it. And that is The Ring.
Never heard of it. Move on. Sorry. Yes, I've heard of it.
The Ring from 2002. A hell of a movie. A movie I watched way too young because I had no childhood.
Incidentally, a remake, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, well. Oh, well.
But they haven't seen the Japanese version.
Of course not.
No, that's true.
Love Samara. She's my girl. Good stuff.
How can you not love Samara?
She's great.
That's why The Ring was in consideration. For
Great.
me, it's entirely down to the way she moves.
Great supernatural horror movie film. All-timer material.
Yeah,
That's about all I have to say on The Ring. What am I going to say on The Ring? The main concept of the paranormal VHS tape is fucking great, too. I love that shit.
I didn't even realize you were going with The Ring next when I made the VHS joke, but that actually plays off perfectly.
It does play well, and they did a fairly decent job of translating Japanese horror film into an American remake, and they didn't do bad. I thought they did fairly well.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It wouldn't have been close to my top 10 if it wasn't for the way Samara moved.
Yeah, she was incredible.
But that jerky crab walk.
Straight out of The
Exorcist.
Yeah, straight
Except
out of The
better
Exorcist.
done because they screwed up the pacing when they did it in The Exorcist. That's
They
why it was
did.
cut from the theatrical release.
That's right. Yeah, no, it was a good film. So good choice.
All right, and for me, my next pick is The Invitation.
Are we talking the one that just came out?
Yes, just a year or two ago.
Yeah. Okay,
There was an
go for it.
even newer one this year, wasn't there?
There
by that
was.
title.
I'm thinking of one that just came out a couple of months ago.
Yeah, no.
Okay, that's
This
not
is-
the one I'm talking about.
This is not
Okay.
the newest movie titled The Invitation.
There's a lot of movies called The Invitation.
There is a lot of movies called The Invitation. That's why I thought this one might be a little confusing.
But
It
this one is a story of a family having a party, and they invite some guests over, and those guests end up not quite being who they thought they were.
Yeah, they turn out to be someone who hasn't seen any bloody horror films, even though they claim they have, and come up with a great idea for a podcast, and then turn around and say, "Oh, I haven't seen any of them."
I wonder who that is.
I don't know.
I'm guessing this is
parables
the
here, folks.
2015 movie.
Yes, I believe so.
There we go. Narrowed it
Let me
down.
check
for
on
everybody.
that. I only have the year on one of them. Oh yeah, there's 22. Yeah, this is the 2015 one.
Okay,
Okay.
there. We narrowed
There
it
we go.
down. That's probably smart.
And it is a brilliant, slow burn, tense, psychological one. From my memory, and it's been a while since I've seen it, I don't believe there's a single kill witnessed on camera. It's all just implied, and the psychological tension ramping up.
So it's an American Psycho type deal. Not that I've seen that movie or anything, but
Yeah,
Yeah, you wouldn't have made that analogy if you had.
yeah. I don't actually have a lot to add to this choice, Bill. I've seen the film once, and I don't really know there's anything I can say that you haven't said.
Yeah.
I have even less to add.
because
Of
you haven't
course
seen the
not.
film.
You
We know
didn't-
you haven't seen the film. Who cares? We're getting used to this now, Ryan. Right? You're just a disappointment to both of us.
That
Over
is
and
the
over and over
common
again.
feeling that I create.
And breaks our hearts.
So we go
But
into pick
it's a
number
good
7.
one
Oh, no.
if you want to experience tension and paranoia, and you have already seen the thing.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go on to my pick.
Number 7.
Number 7. I'm going to talk about a 2005 film called Feast. Feast is a unique horror film. It's a monster movie, right? Basically, a big demonized monster terrorizes some people stuck in a bar in the desert. Is the basic premise. This film was made basically as a project for a TV show, where a lot of people and actors got involved in them, showing how they could make a horror film. They made this horror film. It was called Feast, and it got general release and turned out to be absolutely fantastic. If you like monster movies, where you don't really see a lot of the monster most of the time, you're gonna want to watch this movie. It's funny, it's charming. It's even got Jason Mewes in it. It's got Clu Gallagher. The cast is fantastic, right? Some of them are pretty unknown, but I mean, you can't pull Clu Gallagher into a film without saying, okay, we want some legitimacy. But it just a great cast and funny movie. Reminiscent a lot, I think, of a more modern style of film like Babysitter 2, where they do a lot of vignettes and cuts away and just a lot of snapshots that are just hilarious. So yeah, I'd say The Feast is great if you like horror films that are fun. It's great if you like monster movies, because it's a completely different and unique monster from anything you've ever seen before. And it's a bit of a bottle episode where everybody's trapped in one spot and they just try and survive. Fantastic movie.
I'd
So
rather
that's my pick.
This
Have
is
you
a
seen
it, Ryan?
chance to channel our co-host. This is
I
the
do.
one that I knew of on your list that I have not seen.
well,
Breaking my heart here, guys.
it's technically second since you didn't see the Crazies remake.
Yeah, but I saw the original Crazies. So
Fair enough. And
I had some context on that one.
I'd rather feast than be fired.
I recommend it to everybody, like I just did on this podcast. I really think you should watch it. It's a great monster movie. It's fantastic. It's so funny, right? But I mean, it is really gory in spots. It's just so much fun.
Sounds like
So,
it.
yeah. It's kind of a American Midwest, bar in the desert version of The Thing. Right.
Well, I know what I'm watching this Halloween now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You gotta
There
watch
we
this.
go. The point of the podcast.
Yep.
So, I guess I'll go to my 7th then. I'm gonna go into my second house movie. I think we're really in territory of some of the ones on my list that are just like my absolute favorites on my list here, and I think this is the newest one that I've seen on my
The
list.
stuff I found when I typed in houses on IMDb.
Dreamhouse.
And-
Another good movie.
This one
Yes.
is
Must watch.
this one is called The Night House, and if you haven't seen this one, I genuinely do recommend it. It has middling reviews, but I think it's also kind of one where you might like it or hate it. It's probably a little divisive. I think this is a movie that's this one has a really slow build, and it's one of those ones that's very rewarding if you sit through. This came out in 2020. Very suspenseful. A lot of people probably won't genuinely won't know what's going on throughout a lot of the movie. It has a pretty out there explanation to what's actually going on throughout the movie, but I think it's brilliantly done. The main actress does a spectacular job in the role she's given, who is, I need to search her name because I need to shout her out here. Let's see. what is your name? Has Rotten Tomatoes score is better than the others, 87%. Nice. Rebecca Hall plays the main character of Beth. Does a fantastic job playing the traumatized woman that she plays throughout this movie. And my God, there is some heavy shit that goes on throughout this. And I highly enjoy it. So that's about that. If you guys haven't, I don't know if you guys have even seen this one, but fucking great movie.
I get to continue the trend of being a disappointment. I also haven't seen this one.
Yeah? I haven't seen it. It's one movie on your list I haven't seen.
Boom.
Right,
Boom.
so therefore...
I've seen something you guys haven't. Take that.
It's our turn to disappoint you, Ryan. How's it
Of course
feel?
it's one...
Huh?
Of course it's...
Huh?
Of course it's one that I genuinely highly enjoy, too. That you guys
tells
haven't
us
seen.
everything we need to know, doesn't it? Mm.
Now you
Well, I
guys
did a
never
little
watch
quick
it.
Googling while they were describing it, and it actually does look really good.
It's really fucking good. It's really rewarding when you sit
Not
through.
just good, it's fucking good.
It is. It's got a 6 point. It's only got a 6.5 on IMDb, and it's got like 67% on Metacritic, but it has an 87% Rotten Tomatoes. I genuinely, it is one of my favorite horror movies for the past few years. It is actually, it might be my favorite of the last few years, if we're specifying that much. Really good, and the main actress does a fantastic job with the traumatic situation she has to play out, and just the past that character's been through that she goes into. It's just really good. And that's about all I can say without spoiling any fucking thing on the movie.
That's fair.
So,
Alright.
Bill's
For my
seventh
next
pick.
pick, I have my other one that's kind of a stand-in for the director's entire body of work.
I figured this
And
was
that is Us by Jordan Peele.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It
Absolutely.
could just as easily be either of his other films. I just
Yeah.
watched Nope recently and almost replaced it on the list.
This could also
Like,
easily
Get
be a
Out.
community pick if
Yeah.
we wanted it to. But
He's not wrong.
But of Jordan Peele's movies, I still think this is probably the best one.
This is the other one of Bill's movies I've seen, by the way.
Yes,
This is
I
the one I
remember
was
you've
referencing.
seen this.
Yeah.
It's another case of a family dealing with intruders, and
a whole different level
I
of
love
intruder film.
I
Yes.
love horror movies that have good familiar aspects and stories in them, and this is one of those for sure.
Jordan
Yeah.
Peele is a brilliant writer of characters, though, and he has a knack for making stars with his movies.
And there's a twist in this movie that just is so worth watching.
Saying that, there is a twist in this movie. Personally, I think the twist is fucking obvious because it's laid out right there if you're paying attention. But it's really fucking good still, even if you see it coming.
That's how a good twist is, though. Once you've seen it and you go back and look at it, you're like, of course that
It
was
makes
coming.
it makes sense. I mean, I predicted it when it was happening.
Yeah, that's what
so-
makes a good twist, that they can't
Because
be
it makes
predicted. If there's nothing indicating it, then it's a bad twist.
Yeah. It's really good
Yeah,
twist.
that's
Possibly
true.
an all-timer twist. Yeah, like
Okay.
I said, easily could have been a community pick, but we let Bill. Bill was the most passionate about it, so we let Bill take it. Bill loves Jordan Peele movies, so
Yes,
Made
I'm a
sense.
Jordan Peele mark.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. And legitimately so. There's no shame in that.
No,
Jordan-
man is
Jordan
a
Peele's
brilliant
great.
director. I had no expectations when Get Out came because I only knew him as a comic, and all of a sudden he's
Yeah.
doing horror movies. How good can it be? Well, apparently, real fucking good.
Oh, yeah, it's fantastic. Okay, so we're moving rapidly on to me.
Number
my
8.
7th pick. No, number 7, isn't it? No?
no,
Yeah,
we just
we're on-
did 7.
Oh, we are on
Yeah, we're
number
on
8.
8
Sorry,
now.
my bad. Yeah, my bad. My pick is one that probably almost ended up as a community pick. We all like. It's 30 Days of Night. We've talked about this in a separate podcast. And
The
what do you mean?
very first bonus episode. This wasn't a fuck. I would have ixnayed that community pack.
Really?
Yeah,
Ryan didn't like this movie.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I loved
It was
this
okay.
movie. I thought it breathed a lot of life back into the vampire genre. It took vampires away from the sort of I'm a disco ball in the daylight crap that you were getting in Twilight. Are you done, Ryan? Are you
No.
done? Are you sure? Okay. And it brought them back to being scary. Right, something that's sorely lacking for vampire films over the last couple of decades. They're not scary at all. And 30 Days a Night made vampires scary again. And I can't recommend it highly enough. It's not something you're going to want to watch with your kids, but if you're hoping to get your significant other to snuggle into you all night, watch this movie. I'm done. Next.
I
decent.
also loved it, but we've already covered it on an
Yeah.
episode, so
Yeah.
we don't need to
Go
go
back
too
and
deep
watch
on
that
it.
episode. It was our first bonus episode. Pretty fun episode 2. There was some pretty funny moments on it, I think. So go back and watch it. Some pretty funny moments. I think that was one where the ratings were a little off too. So
Do you think so?
It's the start of our being disappointed in Ryan's cinematic taste arc.
it's the start of Dan.
That's legit. It was.
It's the start of Dan overhyping movies to give them not as good ratings as you think he would.
Really.
Well, yeah, that was
Really?
also a thing that happened there.
Yes, it is. They just can't handle the way I rate films.
This
Not
movie
that
is
I understand why
absolutely.
Ryan. I don't
This
understand
movie
why
is
Ryan
absolutely
objects.
brilliant. You must watch it. It's one of the greatest vampire movies of all time. I give it a 6.
Yeah.
I think it was 0.5 to be fair, but yeah.
No, I said 6.
I did.
6.5.
Was I actually right? I just picked the number out of my ass because I
No,
wasn't going back to
I-
check the rating.
I said 6.5 is what I came up with for it.
I was
Yeah.
pretty sure.
Yeah. But no.
But yeah, go back and
anyway.
watch that episode. Pretty funny.
No, it's not funny anymore. You guys are just no fun. And Ryan, you have no grounds to talk because you've only seen about 10% of the films we've seen. So just
If that.
Yeah, that might be an
yeah.
overestimate. I haven't seen 10% of the films you've seen.
that's fair.
So
Okay,
I
so
mean,
off to,
you had a couple of centuries lead on me. So there's
I
that.
if you want
I-
to see good cinematographs, let me tell you, I can mention many. You know. Oh, you call them
So-
movies nowadays, don't you? That's right. Kids.
we don't watch them on Laserdisc anymore.
What, Super 8?
I know that's your favorite way to watch Star Wars, probably, but
Super 8? I don't get it. They're not funny. They're really not funny. They're trying so hard, and it's just falling so
I'm
flat.
I'm just here to pop myself
Wow.
and make you guys mad.
Laserdisc was too new to work.
That's right. Right?
I
If you
was
haven't
alive
seen it-
during Laserdisc. You're not going to get me laughing at the Dan is
Yeah,
old
well,
joke
I
when you're saying
wasn't.
something from my life.
If
I
you have not
wasn't.
seen it in the original beta, it ain't worth watching, okay?
I've never seen a Laserdisc. No.
Jim had some at the store.
Okay.
Remember we were trying to sell them? Everybody kind of laughed at us.
That happens a lot of it. But anyways,
Yeah, that's true.
anyways, I purposely saved a couple of the ones that would make you guys make fun of me for near the end. And
Yeah, I
this
know
is gonna be
one of the things that's still on your list, and it's crap
This-
and shouldn't be there. And I
this is gonna
suspect
be
this is going to be it.
This probably is it because I am gonna talk about Hush from 2016.
Okay, I was wrong.
Okay,
Okay.
then it's the next one. I saved a semi-good one for last. But Hush from 2016. This is another one that is closely connected with me and my sister watching it as well. We both love this one. I just love the concept of a deaf woman being terrorized by this absolute just reprehensible guy that just is like just evil for no reason, it seems like. And it's just I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's a unique concept. I think they play out the concept quite well. I'm not in the deaf community, so maybe it's not as accurate as it could be, but from what I can comment on, it's pretty dang good. And I think everybody plays their role well. the main protagonist is great. The main antagonist is great. And I love the closed setting of it being in the one house too. Really good. And I don't know if I have much more to say than that. It is technically a slasher.
It's very similar to The Strangers.
It is. I think that I would give this
Which
the
did it a
rub
lot
over
better.
Strangers.
That's a hard one to argue.
I think the elements of the protagonist being deaf is what really does it for me, and the
potentially,
playing
yeah.
around with the aspects of having a loss of a sense and working through how to fucking survive with somebody that not only has all their senses against you trying to kill you, but is also just really fucking like strong and fast and everything. I think it's really good personally. One that both me and my sister like.
Yeah, to be fair, it's kind of an example of how film has managed to finally break free of these 80s horror tropes that they were running with Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Halloween, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Scream, all this stuff. They finally managed to break into more unique, original, and genuinely scary films in the last decade. And that's a good example of one.
You just said a movie there that I purposely left off my list. I would have loved to put Scream on my list, but I didn't want to get made fun of for going easy. So that's why it's not on
Scream
here.
is a brilliant deconstruction of the slasher genre.
Scream is an all-timer.
It has
but
way too many sequels,
it's
but
too,
the first one is brilliant.
Yeah, the first one was a lot of fun.
It's too easy.
One of the big things that kept it off my list is people have probably already seen it.
It's too easy and too mainstream. That's why it's not.
Same thing
here.
with the original Night of the Living Dead was a candidate for a while, but who hasn't
Everybody's
seen that?
seen it. Yeah.
Or at least heard of it and knows it exists.
Other than you, Ryan, we're talking generally normal people, not people who don't
when we
watch
speak
movies.
hypothetically about people
when you
not
say
having
normal,
seen
that
stuff,
obviously doesn't include me. So
Yeah. You haven't seen anything. Oh my God, the effort we had to go through to get him to watch any film. It's true.
So pick number 8 for for Bill.
my 8th pick has already been spoiled by Dan,
Sorry, my bad.
and that's The Sadness.
God, what an incredible film.
This is one you probably don't want to watch unless you're fairly hardcore into the horror genre.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there. It's a zombie film, sort of. They take the concept of the rage zombies from 28 Days Later and ramp them up to 11. It's an extremely dark film, but it's also absolutely brilliant.
Wait, this is just from last year?
Yeah.
Holy. I didn't think it was
I
that
saw it
new.
when it was new.
Yeah, there's a frenetic energy to this film that is so in your face when you're watching it. You know, like, you do not expect to be able to sit back and watch it. You're going to be sitting forward going, because you don't know what you're going to hit with next in each scene. It is just so frenetic. It's so manic when you're watching this film. It's incredible.
It's also one of those movies you'll kind of have that constant battle of, do I turn it off because it's so hard to watch, or do I keep going because I need to know what's happening next?
Yeah. It will make you cringe, I will say that.
Just like me not watching most movies.
There you go.
Yay.
That's right. Totally cringe.
Joke at my own expense.
Okay. Off to number 9.
Number 9 and Dan's last known pick.
Yes, because there is number 10 they don't know about. Okay, number 9 for me was a film that I fell in love with. I didn't think I'd like it that much, but I saw the trailer, went, that looks cute, looks kind of fun, look kind of silly, and is absolute proof that I am a complete, total, and utter Samara Weaving mark. It's a film called Ready or Not, and it is so much fun. It is a bit of a throwback, but it's also a really, really great sort of modernization of haunted house films, stuff like that. It's a slasher flick. It's an in-house kind of movie. It's dark. It's silly. She's incredible in this film.
Just
And it
technically a
is kind of a
supernatural
ghost story.
aspect too.
Yeah, there is a supernatural aspect to it. It's called Ready or Not. Came out a couple of years ago.
2019.
And, yep, it is just fantastic.
To be fair, I
Just
second this
so
pick.
much fun.
I
Which
third
you-
it. It's a good one.
It could have
It's
been another
just so
community
good.
pick.
It really could.
Dan is by far the biggest fan of it, though, so we gave
I
let him
am.
have
I'm a
it.
huge fan of this film. So much fun. If you're looking for a great movie to watch with your friends, Ready or Not's good choice. A really good choice.
It's honestly probably even more than some of the community picks. I think it's one of the top ones that I would recommend out of any of our picks today. I think that if you haven't seen Ready or Not, genuinely go watch the trailer, see what you think. But I recommend watching it.
Yeah. It's such a great premise. It's so silly. It's so fun.
It's a lot of fun. It genuinely is. Some of the character interactions are fucking brilliant.
Yep. Okay,
Well,
there you go.
All right, my next pick.
What?
Oh,
I know what you have next, and we don't need
What are
to
you
talk
talking
about
about?
it.
What are you talking
Ryan,
about?
Ryan, we've already done 8 movies. That's all the
do
movies
you-
you've ever seen in your entire life. So we're just going to ignore you from here.
I'm pretty sure I have a very important pick next that we should really talk about. So, with that in mind,
Well, sure. If we wanted to do an insult to a horror, great.
my penultimate pick. I went with this one on purpose
To
because
troll.
this is my most controversial pick. I do enjoy this movie. There's definitely better versions of this movie.
Like all of them.
No, there's a 5th and 6th movie in the original run. But anyway,
Yes, there is. I
Also-
was aware of that when I made my statement.
but anyways, we are talking about Rob Zombie's first Halloween movie. There was 2, so I could have picked the second one. And we were talking about the first Halloween Rob Zombie Halloween movie from 2008. Yes, I went there
It's
proudly.
staggering how he continues to disappoint.
I
Just when you think he couldn't
Where
go
did
any
we go
lower.
wrong?
I don't
it's
know.
I like it.
Full disclosure, this is the moment I had originally written out the CM Punk rant to use.
Too bad you already used it.
In their defense, it's not a bad film. It's just a pointless film. It's already been done better.
It is a pointless film. I mean, unless you really wanted to see Kid Michael Myers. But
Who cares?
I
Right,
don't know.
it-
I think it's really good,
That's
really
one
fun.
of the reasons I strike against it, because
I like
knowing
the
more
darkness.
about Michael Myers makes him worse.
It's hypothetically knowing more about Michael Myers is a sin in itself.
It's
but
like the Joker.
I-
You don't want to know too much about them.
I think if you're gonna do it, then Rob Zombie did it right here. Personally,
I stand by what I said. There was no point in this film being made. Rob Zombie's made some great films. He has. I've enjoyed a lot of them. This was not one of them. I didn't see any reason for this film
well,
to exist.
I haven't seen The House of a Thousand Corpses. Well, no, that's not what it's called. I haven't seen. I don't know that
Yes, that's what it's
trilogy.
called.
The Firefly trilogy. Is that what it's called? House of a Thousand
Firefly
Corpses?
family. Yeah.
The Firefly trilogy. I haven't seen any of those, so I couldn't put that on here. But
I don't think they're very good, but I'm probably not the person to judge on
I
this.
don't think
because they're
you don't
also
seem like
exactly
a Rob
the
Zombie
stuff that I
fan.
don't like about horror
Yeah,
movies. So
I don't
my
think.
hating them doesn't necessarily reflect on those films.
I went. I could have gone with Halloween 1978, the original, even Halloween 2. They're siblings, or Halloween 2018. In fact, I almost did go Halloween 2018, but
Really?
Rob Zombie. Halloween 2018 is great. The first one, I haven't seen the others since, and they probably don't stand up to the first one. But
Yeah.
whatever.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you needed any more eloquent proof that Ryan has not watched a lot of movies, This is proof right here.
I've seen both Rob Zombie Halloween movies, though, so here we are.
Yeah. So on the
I haven't
list
even
of
Is this
10
why you
movies that
stopped
he's
watching
seen,
movies?
I haven't even seen. I haven't even seen. I technically had I haven't even seen all the original Halloweens. I haven't even watched Halloween 2. But I've seen the Rob Zombie ones. I've seen the original at least. It took 2 sittings to get through for me, but still.
Okay.
Halloween 2018 is probably my favorite.
Let's just rapidly move on to Bill,
All right.
who's got an interesting choice now.
I told you
Yes.
my
Now we're moving
controversial
into
pick.
the movies that you have to have a specific taste to watch. In first, I'm going to hit the super atmospheric, artsy style with The Witch.
Oh, yes. What an incredible film.
It's absolutely brilliant if you're the sort of person that enjoys a film that's mostly atmosphere.
Yeah.
Very little directly happens in it, and it's fantastic for that. The casting is brilliant, the performances are brilliant, everything about it is just haunting.
It is. It's a slow burn film that the payoff in the end makes every second of the build up worth it. It just does. I loved every second of it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's the Hangman Adam Page era of horror movies.
No, the build-up of that was far more exciting.
Yeah, this is a film that draws you in and gives you an opportunity to explore the environment around which the film's set in, but also the people that are involved. You get to know each of them in a unique way. You make a lot of conclusions that turn out to not necessarily be right in this film, which is something else that I really, really enjoyed. It's basically
It's one that you really need to watch again after you've seen the ending and pick up all the little thing telling you what was
Yes.
going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't disagree in any way. I really think this is a brilliant film. I mean, it didn't make my list, but it could have.
It's on my list to watch.
Yep. Yeah. So perfect choice. Okay. Yeah, here we go.
Sorry.
They
I
both
guess
stop
that-
and hold their breath, waiting for the film that I'm going to
No, I'm
mention
just
that they
laughing
didn't
at
know
my
about.
I'm just laughing at my own jokes still. But
Okay. Well,
this is the surprise number
The
10
joke
pick
is your
for Dan.
movie taste, right?
yes, or his lack of movies. Okay, I'm going to mention a film here, my number 10. It's a movie I've been wanting to talk about because I think it's phenomenal. I know, Bill, it's not The Seasoning House. No, Ryan, it's not Tremors.
That's
Okay,
good. I would have told you to go fuck yourself if you said Seasoning House.
It's a movie that was made in 1986, starring Rutger Hauer, and it's called The Hitcher. And it is one of the
Oh,
best suspense films I've ever seen in my life. This is a B film.
Let me just
And
search
it's-
that real quick.
It's incredible. Of course, he hasn't seen it. Ryan, can I recommend that you go see this film?
This is my favorite
immediately?
podcast we've recorded, guys.
Not the Sean Bean version, the Rutger Hauer version.
no, do not do the Sean Bean horror.
Please don't watch the Sean
That's
Bean
a
version.
horror film of an entirely different type.
Yes, The Hitcher. It is an absolute masterclass in making a film on a low budget that is worth watching every second of. Oh, it's incredible. It's incredible. Everybody should see this film. It's something to watch with your friends because it is a horror film. Don't mistake anything. It's a psychological horror. But it's just how the director tied everything together in each scene that tells you this is up there with underground films like Highlander, right? It's one of those incredible cult films that you really have to see.
Brian doesn't know what that is.
Highlander?
Yes.
Oh God!
Wait, Highlander?
Yeah.
I
Never
mean, I
mind.
know of it, but
God Almighty! Oh, why are you? Never mind. Okay, so people.
Drew McIntyre's
my-
SmackDown 2009 comes to mind.
Yeah, my 10th film and the film I really, really, really recommend, The Hitcher, 1986. Go see this film. Find it, track it down, watch it.
Do not watch the kill count on it first.
Yeah, and do
I-
not watch the kill count on it first,
Doesn't
Ryan.
exist.
We're talking directly to
I've
you.
watched every episode, so I would know.
Yeah. So yes. So that's my 10th movie, and off to Ryan we go.
Off to Ryan we go. My next pick,
Final pick.
final pick, number 10. The just as classy choice of Sleepaway Camp from 1981.
I thought we were going to hear frantic typing as we heard, "What is a horror movie that won't get me mocked for liking?" But unfortunately, we didn't get there.
No.
No, I
Oddly
gave
enough.
you Sleepaway Camp instead. Underappreciated. I love
Deeply
Sleepaway
offensive.
Camp. Well, I get, yeah, technically yes. If you don't look at it with modern lens, it's yeah. But modern lens definitely puts some on it. But
Sleepaway Camp has not aged remotely well.
no, it
I
hasn't.
choke you. I choke you, Ryan. I choke you. You must die.
I thought I already watched Rise of Skywalker.
No, just trying to add a little atmosphere to this.
But yeah, outside of the poor aging, Sleepaway Camp is not that bad. It's not that good, but it's not that bad.
It's a
Derivative.
fun
It's
fun
okay.
slasher. Even if it's offensive, it has a pretty good
What was
twist.
the tagline in that? Angela has a secret or something?
Yeah,
I can't
something like
remember. It's
that.
been so long since I've seen it.
It's fine for someone that hasn't seen movies.
Yeah. It's kind of a B film.
I just
kind of
stumbled
derivative
across
of
it on
better-
YouTube one day for the whole
Okay.
movie for free, and just watched it when I
Well,
was like when I was
Tell you everything you need to know.
a young teenager, and I
Yeah.
don't know, it was just a lot of fun.
Okay, it's not a bad film, but it's just not. It was made simply because they came up with an amusing twist on the slasher.
There is
film
no sequels,
concepts.
I will say. There's no sequels
Yes,
to it.
yes, there
so
is. There's a Sleepaway Camp 2.
There's actually three
Ryan's doing
sequels.
my thing.
But yeah, I was doing Bill's bit.
Oh,
That
no, there
only
is a
works
sequel,
when someone's already mentioned the sequels, Ryan.
and I just did.
Well, one of you said two. There's three, and there's Return to Sleepaway Camp. So, not
Yes,
that
which
I've seen them
very
all or anything.
loosely connected.
Not that
it's
I've
kinda
seen
like
them all or
Halloween 3.
anything.
It's not really well connected to the others.
For the record, Halloween 3 is also better than the Rob Zombie Halloween.
I was gonna mention it before, but I knew
shots
you were
fired.
gonna. I knew
Yes.
you were gonna do it. So
Wow, Bill, where did that come from?
My deep-seated hatred for the Rob Zombie Halloween.
Okay, look, legit. But man, that was a shot across the bow. I said
know.
across her nose, not up it.
I had it saved up for the entire Halloween talk, but it didn't come up.
Yeah.
oh, Sleepaway Camp also has some pretty fun kills in too. I guess I'd say. Too.
Okay, it does have a couple of fun kills.
Yes.
The chef got what was coming to him. So here we go.
Okay.
And
Off the
now
bill to finish
we're
this
on
off.
to the main event.
Uh-oh, here
The
we
movie
go.
that I highly
We know.
recommend for
We know what he's
hardcore
gonna say.
horror fans, and recommend anyone that's a casual horror viewer to stay far, far away unless people in white coats start showing up outside of my house.
If you're looking for that final straw to break the camel's back on your decision as to whether or not to commit suicide, Bill's about to give it to you.
And that reason is Martyrs 2008.
This could be your 13th reason why.
Yes. This is your 13th reason. Oh,
This
Wow.
is an incredibly bleak, incredibly
We're bad
dark,
people.
incredibly
I'm having a
gory.
physical reaction to the film. I'm just like, oh, God. Oh. Thank you, Bill, for just making me cringe.
I still owe you for mentioning the seasoning house in my presence.
Okay, Seasoning House, honorable mention. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
You do not want to watch that. I'm
Don't watch
recommending
it?
Martyr, and I say do not watch that.
Okay, fine. Be like that.
But this is a French film about a cult that's trying to pierce beyond the veil of life and death And it finishes with one of the all-time most disturbing conclusions to any horror film I've ever seen. It's
Yes.
absolutely brilliant, and you will absolutely hate me if you follow through on this recommendation and watch it.
And
He's not wrong.
I'll throw it there too. If you've seen the 2015 American remake, it's darker than that one, and that one's still semi-dark too. That's still got some fucked up moments in it, and that's the version I've seen. I have not seen the French Revolution version.
Well, it's a little newer than the French Revolution. It was only 2008.
That's fair. What's the fuck? I mixed up my words there. I don't even know. Whatever.
Okay. Well, we've got all those films out there for you guys to watch. If you get bored, you want a film to watch for Halloween, we've run the gauntlet for everything. From
Yeah, we
family
sure have.
films to generic
2 hours worth of
slashers.
movies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've been doing this for 2 hours now, and trust me, we've covered
feeling
a
it.
lot. It's what we all consider to be the best of the genre of horror in general.
So, anyways, go
Right,
watch
so-
Scream. No.
What? What?
They've seen Scream.
Bill,
Yeah.
you're closer to him than I am right now. Give him a slap. Right.
I hope the pictures are arrayed the same way when we post this, or else that joke's totally going to land.
That's not going to land
Badly.
well, but yeah. But no, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really do, because we did put a lot of thought into this. There were a number of discussions prior to doing this
Well,
video.
at least two of us did.
Okay, well, two of us
I'll
did,
say it before you
and
guys
somebody
did.
didn't watch anything.
Two of us put a lot of thought, and one of us put a lot of IMDb searching.
That's right. Someone
I had to
did a
rack my
lot.
brain for this list for a while.
I'm trying to remember if you'd seen a movie before in your life, other than Star Wars or the Marvel movies.
Mommy, why are the
Ooh.
pictures moving?
I
Honest to
wish I'd
God.
watched See No Evil so I could put that on.
See No Evil's not bad. Not bad, but it's not good enough to make the list. It's just not.
You could argue a lot of my movies aren't good enough to make the list.
I thought we already had.
Yeah, pretty sure we have, but you know. Just,
But yeah, no, so like I say, for anybody looking for Halloween movie recommendations, that's a list of, 35, 36, 38 movies that we all recommend. Or at least Bill and I recommend that Ryan doesn't know anything about, but will nod and smile and say, yeah, they're great. Because he doesn't want to feel like
yeah,
he's
I
on the
agree
outside
to four of
looking in.
them that were on you guys.
The
Okay.
ultimate giveaway as to the relative qualities of these lists is the fact that the mayor of Knox County's movie almost made Ryan's list.
No, it didn't. 'Cause I haven't watched
But it only failed because they haven't seen it. The jokes write themselves.
They do. They do. Right. So next week, we'll go back to comic books.
Next
because-
week we will do a deep dive into the Libertarian Party. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
So, this behind the scenes, we're recording this on a Tuesday night. With different for us, we are going to release this between either Wednesday or Thursday. So it'll be tomorrow, next day from when we're recording. So when you're watching this, it'll be a day or two before this week's episode of Route 616 comes out. Make sure to tune in this week. We've got a pretty fun week. We're going to finish off our Thor stretch and then
No, we
go
don't.
into
There's no Spider-Man, Dan. You're safe.
an Avengers issue, an X-Men issue, and then a Sergeant Fury issue. And then come back next month. I was going to kind of mention this earlier. We haven't 100% committed. We had talked about we had a plan for what was going to happen next month in place that I wrote down on a spreadsheet. And
But then Bill
unless
and I
this
died waiting
changes,
for Ryan to actually watch the movies.
unless this changes next month, we are probably going to do either the Alien franchise or the Predator franchise. That was
that's right.
That's what we had written in for November, and then come back in December where we come up with some holiday movie to cover, or even a holiday franchise
just-
if there's a good one. We'll
Yeah,
see.
maybe give you a list of our favorite holiday movies.
That might happen
Yes,
too.
That's
we might
harder
just,
because there's less.
yeah,
Yes.
I think
It'll
that'd be
be a
harder
shorter
than the Halloween
podcast.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a shorter podcast. But
Halloween has an advantage in that an entire genre works for it.
True. And I mean, you can only mention Die Hard so many times in a podcast, right? So,
Yeah.
have you seen that one, Ryan?
Of course not.
Die Hard? Oh my God. One of the greatest Christmas movies ever, and you haven't seen it.
I've told you guys this before, so.
Oh my God.
But this was our chance to call you out in public.
Yeah,
as
that's
public
right.
as our videos ever get, but
That's right. That's
it's
right.
public of a sort. People
This
might
is probably
stumble
the-
in.
This will
This is
probably be the
called
one that does the best.
shaming
So.
you. Right?
Oh, yeah,
Shame,
I'm just-
shame.
I'm advertising this as 2 hours of burying Ryan.
Yeah. Oh, yes, absolutely.
God.
Absolutely. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. Bill, any last words, thoughts, concepts?
Well, you see, sometimes people will act out a scene and they'll record it on film so that it moves, and then people watch it back later. You should look into this concept sometime, Ryan.
Yes, Ryan. You can actually, we have something called movie theater, right? And it's where they take these films that they've made and
What's
they
that?
display them for the public, right? Or you can get what they call a streaming service.
You say that about the movie theater, but No Way Home was the first time I was in the theater in like over 4 years or
God.
whatever. So
Oh God. Yeah, no, you have absolutely no grounds to feel like you're qualified to have this discussion with us. Okay, just so you know, Ryan's appearance today was sheerly out of pity from Bill and I.
But entertainment value.
Oh, well, and entertainment value as well, right? Because he's the only one who has hair, and we needed somebody to pick on.
too much of it, but yeah.
Okay, so from three weird white guys doing a podcast.
3 generations of the
I don't
mastery,
know
as
why
many
that was
favorites
as
saying.
funny as it was to me. Probably because I've been
Oh.
talking about movies for 2 hours and
That's
shitting on
right.
Ryan, so I'm kind of giddy.
Yeah, Ryan, you have any last thoughts or words?
Not really. Come back in
course, you haven't seen
January
any.
where we should do a monster
I was
sync.
going to make that exact joke.
I know. We're good. So are you done, Ryan? Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen any of them. I don't know. Maybe I'll watch some of them before the next podcast.
Next month's covered at least.
Oh, next month is going to get worse. We're just warming up. We're going to get meaner
I'm
to them
just
as we
going to
go along.
accuse you of not seeing any movie in whatever franchise we talk about next. You do
God
realize
damn.
this, right?
God damn.
Yep.
I'm never gonna recover from this episode.
No.
We were on this before this episode, and this one just made it worse.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
God.
We're just getting started.
So from 3 generations of the mastery, here we are signing off for another month. This one was a late one. We'll probably get an episode out earlier next month. So come back next month. We're probably going to do Alien or Predator franchise. We will debate it. You might change. We might drop that in the upcoming episode of Route 616. But anyway,
Trust me, it'll end up being Alien.
Yeah, it's going to be Alien.
It's gonna be Alien.
we had 90% decided on Alien. We had 90%. So
Because it happens
you know
to be
what?
films that we know Ryan's actually watched for.
I've watched the Predator ones, but anyways, 100% now. We're putting it in stone. November's bonus episode is going to be the Alien franchise. Fuck it, we're here.
Yes.
Alien franchise is going to be covered in November, and there's only 2 of them. But anyway, we will see you all for the next.
I was saving that for the podcast, you thief.
Yeah.
Stealing
We're going to
people's
sign.
gimmicks
We're
now.
going to sign off before this
Stealing
gets any
people's-
meaner.
Stealing people's gimmicks now. We will see you all next time. Thank you all for watching.
Have a good
this
night,
was a lot of fun. Hope you enjoyed.
Have a great one, everyone.
Peace out.